in realms confined to a prone circle of death, in realms confined to a prone circle of death, in realms confined to a prone circle of death, to a dark eternity of ignorance. So she is working under the influence of death and ignorance here, Indian conscience, death and ignorance. Now, normally, it is quite common that these two words, death and ignorance, occur together in Savitri together. In number of places, wherever there is the occurrence of death, there is also the occurrence of ignorance. In many places, Shivandu has used capital for both death and ignorance. In many places, Shivandu has used capital for the ignorance and small case for death, you see, in many places. In many other places, he has kept capital for both. Death is capital, ignorance is also capital. Now, we don't know, they have worked out some kind of statistics of occurrence of death and ignorance. How many are both capital, how many one of them is capital. It's like that, you see. But I think here D small seems better. D small seems better than I capital. I has to be capital because eternity of ignorance. It is something on a very, very large scale, whereas this is circle of death. It is the power of death. It is a circle of death. So I will say D small here is perfectly good in that sense, you see. If you go into small nuances, that makes sense. D small and I capital to a dark eternity of ignorance, a quiver in an inert, inconscient mind, or imprisoned in immobilized worlds of woe by matter's blind compulsion, deaf and mute. She reposes motionless in this dust of sleep, reposes, take rest. She is there, she has been sent, she is waiting for the hour to come. She is waiting for the hour to come to wake up. Therefore, she reposes in their sense. Matter's blind compulsion, deaf and mute. She reposes motionless for the hour to come. When she will wake up, when the hour comes, then she will wake up. She will be active. Her motionlessness will go away. Then, for her rebel waking's punishment, you see, he has put now sleep and waking. Waking is here already now again. Then, for a rebel waking's punishment. This line I will scan as a headless line. Headless line means the first foot is a monosyllable. Then. That is name. Then. And the second foot will be for a rev, Anabist. Third foot will be wake, I am. Fourth foot will be king, wake, king's pun, I am. And last foot is pirik, ishment. That is how I will scan it. But normally in a hurry you can scan it, then for her rebel waking. See, the comma gives a certain force to then to make it a monosyllabic foot. Then, for a rebel waking's punishment, given only hard mechanic circumstance at the engineering of a magic craft. That's right, magic craft. She fashions godlike marvels out of mud. You see, she is waking up, so to say, and she is creating marvels out of nothing, mud, which has no form, no shape, nothing is there. But she has really produced living, breathing, active forms of life, you see. As the engineering, that is her engineering, that is her craft, that is her work, you see. Really, when you think of how even a small little living creature has been engineered, so much of, so to say, thought has gone behind every little bit of that creature that it starts functioning without any fail. Take an ant, or take an elephant, or take a man. You see, the way the system is built, it's a perfect engineering model. how everything is in its proper place and keeps on working. And it was without fail, in our case, for 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, something like that. No problem, you see. And the way the whole thing works, you see, the entire physiological system is a great masterpiece. It's a project of a chemical engineer who has built up the whole thing like that, you see. Process. Given only hard mechanic circumstance and the engineering of her magic crown, she fashions godlike marvels out of mud, godlike marvels. You see. Yeah, really, she has created wonders out of that thing, you see. In the plasm, she sets her dumb, immortal. In the plasm, she sets her dumb, immortal urge. Even in the small little plasm, that urge is there, she has seeded that urge, helps the live tissue to think, the close sense to feel. That is her engineering. She has done that kind of a thing. Flashes through the frail nerves, poignant messages in a heart of flesh miraculously loved. To brood bodies gives a soul, a will, a voice. That is a marvel she has really created, done. To brood bodies give the soul, a will, a voice, which is inert, which has nothing to do, which is wild. She has given a soul, a will, a voice. It can assert itself, you see. This line, to brute is an am. Body is a gives. It is body, second foot is body is a gives. Long, short, long. It's a critic. The second foot will be critic. Long, short, long. To brute, I am. Body is a gives. Critic. A soul, a will, a voice. I am. All are I am. See, that is the artistry of the poet of Savitri. This fourth variation is the magic of his rhythm, Savitri's. It is not the same monotonous t t t t t tum 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 tum. It goes on t tum 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 t t t t. It goes on back and forth like that. To brood bodies gives a soul a will to voice. Ever she summons as a sorcerer's hand beings and shapes and scenes innumerable, torch bearers of her palm through time and space. They are carrying her torch, victory torch, everywhere, wherever she goes. See, she has really created life everywhere. Where life does not exist, you go to the highest place in the stratosphere, there is life present. You go at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, 30,000 feet down below, 10,000 meters down below, and still there is life present here. There are frogs at the floor of the Pacific Ocean. Now just imagine those frogs living with that enormous hydrostatic pressure. So what kind of skins they must be having to bear that enormous hydrostatic pressure, you see. But she has managed to produce life. Where is that she does not produce life? You call it a desert, but desert has its own life, its own way of living, you see. Everywhere she is present. So it is not really a certain set of parameters which gives life to life. You cannot say that the life can exist only between this temperature and that temperature. Below that, life cannot exist. Above that, life cannot exist. Life does not care about that thing. When life enters into matter, she adapts herself to the conditions of matter. So she is not worried that is there going to be life on Mars. Now, what do you look for? Whether the weather conditions in Mars are as good as on Earth. If they do match, then okay, you go further. Possibly life can exist there, you see. But that is not necessary, that is not sufficient. These weather conditions, the temperature, water, this thing, that thing, these are in a certain sense incidental. They are incidental. They are not the basic reasons for life to be. Life goes and enters anywhere and she can create her own forms and shapes. Whether it is Earth or it is Mars, she can create even in the sun. If she wants, well, the temperature high in the center of the sun, the temperatures are as high as 50,000 Kelvin, 50,000 degrees centigrade, but she wants to produce life. She can do that. She will adapt herself to produce whatever she wants under those circumstances. So life is not governed by this factor. It is life which adapts and prepares things for her expression. It is life's dynamism. Wherever she wants to go, she will produce life, you see. So it is wrong in a certain sense to keep on searching for life forms elsewhere, extraterrestrial life. But the basic reason is it may not be so really. The basic fact may not be so really, you see. The occult fact is it is the power of life which can work itself out anywhere. Now the question which you have to ask is there something very important that power of life should work only on earth and not elsewhere? Whether that power of life should work only on earth and not elsewhere? That is a more fundamental question. That is a more basic question. If you are able to answer that question, the other questions become irrelevant. Other interpretations become irrelevant. It's completely. Now, the question is, why is life present only on earth? Because earth is a significant center. Earth has been created for a specific purpose. Earth has been, you can't challenge that thing. It is the will of the Supreme or whatever it is. You can't challenge that. That's the premise. Earth is a significant center. Earth has been created for a certain purpose. What is that purpose? Evolutionary manifestation of forms and consciousness can occur only in the evolutionary process of the earth. And it is for that purpose that earth has been created and taken care of. Earth is the darling of the Supreme, so that the process of evolution can go on here. And he looks after her in every respect that this work of evolution goes on. He looks after in every way. He comes here again and again as avatar and pushes up things up like that. You see, comes here as avatar. Earth is the darling of the Supreme, you see, and therefore he comes here periodically. Now, therefore, why he has chosen earth, that is another matter. We don't know that. But it is a fact he has chosen. And every effort is concentrated on the evolutionary process on earth. If it fails on earth, then it cannot be done. It will be pralaya and something else will be tried, you see. Ever she summoned as by sorcerer's man, beings and saints and innumerable torchbearers of her palm through time and space. Beings and saves and saints. Well, beings not only biological beings or saves biological saints, but even the asuric, the rakshasic, the pisachic beings, they are her creation. They have been allowed to grow, you see. That is product of inconscience. It is going to happen, you see. Beings and saves and saints and innumerable torchbearers of her palms through time and space. So they are carrying a torch. This world is a long journey to the night. Long journey, that long pause of inconscience through inconscience. This world is a long journey through the night. The suns and planets, lamps to light her road. Well, she has got a road, evolutionary road. A job has been given to her and she has to accomplish that job. And every means is provided to her. But on that road, suns and planets are lamps. They are guiding her. Now, one can understand that the suns are the lamps. But how are planets the lamps? How are the planets the lamps? You see? From an astronomical point of view, this is an absurd statement from an astronomical point of view. How can planets be the lamp? They don't have their own light. If at all they have light, they have borrowed light, you see. And can that be a lamp? You don't call it a lamp, you call it a shadow, you call it a reflection. Earth in the outer sphere looks blue, red planets looks red, but that does not become a sun, that does not become a lamp to give light to others. It does not give that light to others that we see. Now, the only way of understanding this thing is, in my opinion, the suns and planets, lamps to light her road. Her own intrinsic powers, which are kindled and which are active, which have got subsidiary powers along with them, it is they who are lighting her road. Life has power of love, power of activity, of action, of consciousness. These are the sons of her, and their subsidiary powers, the planets circling around those powers, they are the planets. So it is these things which are really guiding her on her road. It is not that there are fixed objects and they are becoming the lamps to her, you see. Basically, love, sweetness, joy, activity, action, these are the sons of her nature, and they are guiding guiding life on the road. Here you see, our reason is the confidant of her thought. Our reason is the confidant of her thought. Again, reason is a confidant, feminine. Reason is feminine. Actually, she will use reason everywhere as a feminine, confidant, in whom you confide something. A lady, a woman in whom you confide everything. She is the confidant, you see. Our reason is the confidant of her thought. Our senses are her vibrant witnesses.